Hello, friends. Question of the day is this: what conservative decision in the past helped you to keep your business alive? Yes, my situation is I always work for myself. Always. When I was young, the never the only occasion where when I wasn't work for myself was when I was working for my dad. And even then, I was working for him in a way that I was learning how to work for myself. So I learned everything from him. So I went through many situations that decisions affect my business. And when I was young, when I was in my when I was a teenager, yet like 18 years old, 19 years old, here in Brazil is considered a teenager yet, but I was already working for myself. And in my early 20s too, when I was 22, 23, I I made bold moves at that moment trying to grow business, and I end up in fail every time. And that circumstance of these things that happened make me be much more conservative in the next decisions. So I was we had a small factory here in Brazil of pulleys that the rolls that you put under the gates of the houses. Here in Brazil, every house has a gate. We have walls and gates, everything, because it's not a very safe country. So we have all of this. And for the gates to move, to open, you need the pulleys. And we had a small factory of these pulleys. And my parents at that moment, they were already old. They were near 75 years old, something like that. And they moved to live at the beach. Here where we live, it's not close to the beach. So they move something around 500 kilometers away from here, another city. And they left the small factory for me to take care of. They were going to live there for good. After some years, 5 years, they moved back because they decided that would be better for them to be close to the children now that they are much older. My father now is 95 years old and they live nearby nowadays. All right. So they moved to the coast and I was trying to take care of the business. And I was trying to do it my way at that moment. I had learned lots of things with my dad, but not everything. And most of what I have learned was about the production of the products, not about the dealing with the business, dealing with money. I was not very experienced in that. And I end up making a lot of mistakes and losing a lot of money. A lot of money considering the amount of money at that moment that for me was a lot of money. Wasn't really a lot of money if you consider money in general. But it wasn't good for me at that moment. All right. Then, because of that, I became very safe, very conservative in my next decisions. Later, when I start to work with construction, every time that I finish a construction, I was very conservative when it comes to selling it. And I establish a rule for selling, which is this. And this same rule that I established around 20 years ago is the same rule that guide me today. To sell a real estate property that I built, I need to get at least twice the money that I would spend to build another one. That means that, let me try to clear this up here. What I'm trying to say is this: to be able to sell a property, I need to, with the money, be able to build two properties of the same size where I'm going to get the same rent. For example, if I rent for 1,000, to sell it, I need to be able to sell for a price where I can build two equal properties that I'll be able to rent for 2,000 per month. So instead of receiving 1,000, I receive 2,000. This here in Brazil is considered very conservative. So conservative decisions helping me to grow my business. For example, in an occasion, I established that the value of a certain property that was rented at that moment was 500,000 reais at that moment. All right. So a possible buyer appeared and he offered me 4,050 and I didn't sell. All right. So 3 or 4 years pass, the value of the property went up. Another possible buyer appeared. Now the value would be something around 1,200,000. Because this is the way that the real estate, I believe that worldwide develops, but here in Brazil, this is the way that the price develops. It stays in one level for a long for a long time. After this time, it goes up all of a sudden and goes to another level. So at that moment, the price had get up to a different level. So the price would be 1.2 million reais at that moment. And a possible buyer came up and I told him the price and he paid the price for the property. With this money, I was able to build another property that was evaluated and in 2 million reais, and I was able to build the house that I live today, that end up being the house that I use when I move to when I get married and everything. And the house is evaluated in 1.5 million reais. But the money that I used to build the house wasn't the entire money. I sell the property for 1.2 million and I spend 300,000 in the house and 900,000 to build another warehouse. And this 300,000 wasn't enough to build my house, but was a good help, was enough to build a huge part of the house. So what happened was this: I started with one real estate, one warehouse that I had built that values 1.2 million reais, and I end up with another warehouse that which the value was 2 million reais, and a house that the value was 1.5 million. So with 1.2 million, um, with my work, I transform it to 3.5 million reais. But I need to tell you here that the money that I spent in the house wasn't enough to, like I said, to build the house completely. Let's say that to build the house, I spend in total 600. So this part was 300,000. So that was the rule that helped me. Another rule that is very important for me: when I sell something, I need to know immediately, right away, what I'm going to do with the money, especially when it comes to real estate. For example, if I sell something now, I need to find one or more lots very quickly and buy properties and buy lots that I'm going to build on very quickly. So this is the way that conservative decisions had helped me to improve my business. The way that I think nowadays, today, is this: we are not as smart as we generally think. We need to maintain our money. You need to have clear rules, because if you have clear rules, you know what you need to do at the moment that the situation appears. For example, in this situation, my rule is very clear. If I'm able to build two real estate like the one that I am selling, then I sell. Very clear. If I'm able to build just 1.5, then I would think about the situation. Maybe I can sell it, because maybe I will be able to find a lot that is bigger and I can sell it. But if I can't build a property that is at least 1.5 times the size of the property and the value of the rent that I'm selling, then I'm not even thinking about selling. Very clear. This is the way that you need to think about business. All right, my friends, this is all that I have for you today. Thank you for all of you that are watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about this subject, and I see you in the next video.